I used to believe I needed a massive audience to make my first euro online. See, I have less than 500 subscribers on YouTube and no more than 2,000 followers, all social media platforms combined. Yet, in the past month, I managed to make my first 200 euros online from taking one of my skills, turning it into a product and selling it to people. And in this video, I'd like to show you how you can do the exact same. If you're a creator who has been dreaming of monetizing your content, monetizing your skills so that you can have a bit of peace of mind and keep doing what you love, this video is for you. I'll walk you step by step what I did exactly so that you can do the same. Just to give you a little bit of context, it's been 9 months that I've been trying to make money out of a skill or one of my passions, basically doing what I love, working from home, that kind of lifestyle. I've had no jobs, quit my jobs nine months ago, no income, and I've been trying really hard to get to that goal. The thing is that I tried to build an audience as well as a business, and I was really unclear on what steps I needed to get to make money, but also to build an audience because I was convinced I needed an audience to make money. And I felt really stuck. I would say there was 4 core problems that I had at the time. The first one being that I didn't have an audience, and so in my mind, I couldn't sell. The second one being I didn't know what to sell, I didn't know how to sell it, and I didn't know when to sell it. And I'm sure if you're a creator, you can probably relate to what I just said here. So a little bit about my story, and then I'll tell you about how you can take these elements from my story and from what I tried and failed at so that you can turn it into doing the same thing for yourself. The truth is that €1 is not going to replace your salary, but it's going to give you the confidence that you can repeat the process, and it's going to give you the right skills to actually know how to turn content or skills or passion into income. So in my case, 9 months ago, it took a little while to find the right skill to monetize. But if you're already creating content, you probably know what this skill is. You need something that you're actually passionate about, something that you're kind of good at. And for me, it was helping musicians land cruise ship gigs. I have been working on cruise ships as a musician for many years, and I knew how to get a gig, how to get noticed by agents. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to help people with this. And I hear you talking right now, you're telling me, hey, but so many people are selling what I do. Actually, how can I make money from it? I can't stand out with this competition. The good news is that if you have a skill that people are actually paying for, you can do it. You can sell it too. There's no reason why it wouldn't work for you. So what I actually did, right, was to find the skill I wanted to monetize, which in my case was helping musicians land cruise ship gigs. I did a lot of market research, and I think without this, it would have taken me so much longer to actually make my first sales. What I did was talking to people in Facebook groups and communities. Facebook groups is so amazing to find the right people you're targeting. If you're teaching guitar or Spanish or whatever, you can find communities of people who are specifically learning that skill and target them and help people for free in there. So I talked to people, and then I started posting content on social media as I was talking to people. Your content doesn't need to be amazing, and you don't need to worry about the fact that there are only 20 views on your YouTube videos. Even my views are still very low, but I still managed to make sales. And some of the sales I made came from people who watched my YouTube content and who had no idea about who I was, apart from watching my YouTube content. What I also did was commenting on people's posts in the Facebook group or wherever it is. If you have a bit of an audience, you can speak to them there, but it's so important to actually talk to people. You can DM them afterwards so that you can have a better idea of what their problem is. And then the best thing that you can do is actually to jump on a free call with them to really understand how you can help them, what stands out to them, what they're struggling with. And all of this is market research so that later you can create your offer. And only after doing all of this, I actually created a very small, low price offer to test the demand and to see if people would actually pay for it. And the result is that within the first 3 weeks, I made 4 sales, and that's how I made my first 200 euros out of this skill that I had turned into a product, an offer. I think the hardest part for me was that I had to accept that my skills could be monetized. And trust me, that was a really hard part of the process because we have so much resistance to this, especially if you've ever worked in environments that you hated. Realizing that you can actually get paid for what you know is weird. And you tend to think that for some reason what you know, everyone will know it. Especially as creators, we tend to have a lot of self-doubt around this. That's why I really think starting with a small offer is really good for this. Now, let me tell you what I would actually tell myself 9 months ago, before this whole trial and error journey. If I could talk to myself, this is what I would say. So first thing is to talk to people. As I said, this is so important. 9 months ago, I started creating a website, email marketing, funnel, complicated, stuff, a lead magnet, these kind of things, when I had no idea not only what I truly wanted to do, even though I thought I knew, but I had no idea what people would actually pay for. And I had no idea how to speak to these people, even though I roughly knew. But you don't have to create anything complicated. Literally talking to people will give you so much clarity and confidence that you can actually help, right? The 10 to 20 free calls that you're going to do, and I recommend doing at least this amount, will be enough to give you clarity on what specific offer to create. You do not need an audience to sell. This is the biggest myth that there is out there, especially for creators. But let me tell you that when I was working on cruise ships, there was a guy who came to me and he was like, because at the time I was helping musicians turn their, like pretty much this, turning their skills into a product. And he was like, I have 300,000 followers on TikTok and I have no idea how to make money from it. I was like, what? So you see, it's not because you have a big audience that you're going to make money instantly. And a lot of the time, both are uncorrelated. So if your goal is to make money, stop thinking in terms of views. You actually need something valuable that solves a specific problem. And the good news is that if someone else is selling what you're actually selling, then there's no reason why you can't sell it too. It's proof that the market exists. Another thing I would tell myself is to start small in terms of the offer I create. Very quickly, I started, I listened to some business advice and I was like, oh, you gotta, get people to pay for a 3 months transformation, to help them completely like achieve something really big, change their identity. And even if that's the goal, of course, like maybe you want to replace your salary with, what you're doing in terms of, like your skills and your passion and your online business, or your content creation. But trust me, if you've never made money from something that you have created, or like from actually coaching or these kind of things, it's going to be really hard to even just receive the first euro. And so starting really small just lowers the barrier to entry, because once you have made your first 100 euros or your first euro, you're going to be confident that you can actually repeat the process. You're going to be confident in your ability to deliver. And there's a very big difference between helping one person and getting paid for it, and helping, like maybe you have, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4,000 or maybe 50,000, followers, or if you have no audience, maybe you have just hundreds. But like helping hundreds of people and creating content for free compared to helping just one person and getting paid feels very different, and both are really important. Another thing I would tell myself is don't wait to start. You don't have to build any website or any complicated funnels. You can literally speak to 3 people tomorrow and maybe one of them will be like, yeah, I want you to help me learn this thing. So speaking to people straight away, like people pay for skills. So if you have a skill that people want to learn, you can find clients tomorrow. And the last thing I would tell myself is understanding what money really is. Money is just an exchange in value. I give you something, you give me something. If someone gives you money, it's because you're going to give them money. And right now at this stage where I'm at, in my journey in like content creation as well as business, I'm really focusing on how can I bring value to people? How can I give them what they want so that they trust me? We live in a world where, like with AI and the online world, where there are so many people who lie to you. There are so many people who are not credible in what they say they are. And there are too many people as well, probably like you, who have massive skills that could be monetized and that don't have the right knowledge of how to put that into an offer. So the way you can stand out in this crowded world really is to think in terms of value. How can you bring value to people who actually follow you? And the truth is that if you have a specific skill you want to sell, you probably already know how to bring value. Now it's really about like giving it specifically to the people who you come across. Try to focus on this, no matter like who you speak to, giving value, and money will come to you. Now I'd like to give you 4 action steps that you can take right away so that you can start making money from this skill that you have been posting content about. Okay, if you're starting with 0 audience, it is possible to make money very quickly in the next couple of weeks if you do these 4 things. Number 1 is to talk to people. So if you have an audience already, even a very small audience, just a couple of comments on YouTube videos or wherever it is, then you can use this as like a way to find out like what people are struggling with, what are they asking about, and maybe you can text them and go further in a conversation with them. And if you don't have an audience at all, you can go to Facebook groups or Reddit or social media and speak to people there. That's going to be really useful for you to try and understand what people need help with and understanding where they hang out as well. And all the work you're going to do this, like giving value for free to people, talking to people, trying to understand what they're struggling with. This is market research, and it can even become potential clients at some point. So I wouldn't encourage you to see this as a waste of time, because it's not. Really try to focus on being helpful and giving value for free. This is how you build trust. Number 2, I would say take notes. Like try to take note of every conversation you have. If you can record it, that's amazing. Because after 10 to 20 calls, like I've done so many calls to actually understand what people were struggling with and how I could help them. And all of these calls also give the confidence that you can actually help people. You'll see clear patterns of like what people struggle with after 10 or 20 calls. Of course, if you just do 2, that's not enough, right? So that's step 2. So step 1, talk to people. Step 2, take notes. And step 3, create a small offer around what you think people would benefit from, like what they're struggling with and what you've collected from the conversations. When I say a small offer, I would recommend below 100 euros, because that's easier to sell and because it's going to give you the confidence and clarity and knowledge and self-belief that you can actually do this and monetize your skills. For example, for me, what I created was a 1-hour strategy call. I was helping them figure out the best way to get their first contract. And I packed so much value in it, right? I was preparing the calls beforehand, I was delivering, and then I was giving like sending a massive email with action steps and agency's contact, and try to give as much value as you can, and just create like a small offer, under 100 euros, which will give you the confidence that you can actually turn your skills into income. And the last thing is of course to mention your offer in your content. Tell people to actually download your guide or to book a free call with you so that you can chat with them. I would always offer people, for a free call, 20 to 30 minutes, because I believe that it's a way for you to do more market research, to see if you can actually help people, and for people to actually get to know you and trust you a little bit before committing to anything, even if it's low ticket. Yes, I can tell you that my first euro online, it changed so much for me. Like now I think I could make 100,000 euros now, and it wouldn't do as much for my confidence as my first euro did. That's why it's so important to focus on this first step. So over the next couple of months, I'm going to be helping a few creators to get their first euro online. And I'm going to be documenting the whole process here on YouTube. So first of all, if you want to follow their journey, if you're curious to know like how I get to help other creators make their first euro online, I'll be documenting all the things that I learn and giving you free advice, on how to do it yourself. Then feel free to hit the subscribe button below, and also let me know in the comments that you've watched until here. And if you're a creator, what skill do you think you could monetize? I'd love to know. And if you are a creator who would be interested in getting my help, to get you to do this, I'm willing to work for free with 3 creators. Feel free to leave the word creator below and I'll get in touch with you so we can just do a little call to get to know each other and see how I can help you monetize your skills and finally, for you to be able to do what you love and trust that it's also possible for you. If you're curious about how I decided to quit my job, follow my passion 9 months ago, feel free to to click on this video just right here. And other than that, thank you so much. I wish you a beautiful day and I'll see you in the next video.